Good evening, good people, and welcome to the news on Canal International. It is about 6:18 p.m. across Cameroon, and welcoming you live from Douala. First things first, the headlines.
Fist of fury between Public Health Minister Manauda Malachi and the director of the Bafoussam Regional Hospital, Professor George Eno, over 50,000 francs caution to be deposited by every patient before treatment. Minister Malachi has forced the director to reverse his decision, saying the draconian measure is against the right of Cameroonians to access universal health care. The non-respect of the rights of minority in any country is one of the root causes of major conflicts and wars in the world. The media has been told to change the paradigm and narratives in reporting the rights of minorities in Cameroon. Africa witnesses surge in cholera amid vaccine shortage. According to the WHO, the world is moving towards more numerous widespread severe cholera outbreak due to factors such as floods, droughts, and conflict that limit access to clean water. Welcome to the 6:15 news with Ntarike Divine, Ramsey Jr.
Thanks once again for keeping us company as we flip open our news file with this rather strange occurrence in Yaoundé, where traders at the Etudi market earlier this morning were taken aback after droves of intimidating bees chose bananas on sale to settle on. Beatrice Ngamo tells us up next that the incident actually provoked suspicions of witchcraft practices at the commercial space. A report.
The appearance of the honeybee is kind of mysterious. Many saw its journey not far off at the Mana neighborhood, coming towards it to the market and settling on the goods of a trader, grouping themselves well on a bunch of unripe banana.
Tout à l'heure, nous avons aperçu les abeilles venant du côté de Mana. Ça faufilait vers le haut, jusqu'à ça a pris le virage à la gare routière.
Normal for the different questions that follows as to the whereabouts. Suspicious, mythical, the unusual appearance.
C'est vraiment suspect, c'est mystique.
On trouvait que c'est un banane volé.
The owner of the goods said she's also surprised, but not afraid because she bought her goods with her hard-earned money.
Je n'ai pas peur. Je ne connais rien sur ça. J'achète ma marchandise avec mon argent.
Her story goes thus, that she bought the said bunch of unripe banana yesterday night at around 7:30 p.m. at Bafia from someone on a bike like they do, and with her other goods came to Yaoundé to sell.
Je remets ça entre les mains de Dieu.
The situation traumatizing to the other traders and buyers. Some were victims of the bee sting. This telephone repairer braved the odds, pouring kerosene and acid on the bunch of unripe banana after dropping it at a more spacious place. The honeybees took to the air and found new refuge on a nearby electric pole.
And from Yaoundé, we take you across the border to Bata, that's in the Equatorial Guinea, where the Cameroonian consulate out there says it will this Saturday, October 29, begin the voluntary repatriation of Cameroonians ordered to leave the country. The decision comes in the wake of the massive expulsion of hundreds of foreign nationals said to be residing illegally in that Central African nation. Since October 20, the undocumented migrants have been ordered to voluntarily leave the country or face forceful eviction. Cameroon's consul to Bata, Richard Etundi, says the first 15 Cameroonian nationals who declare their willingness to leave will be repatriated on Saturday without any properties being carried along. Now, there is little gainsaying the fact that the role of an assessor is to assist a judge or magistrate in court. And of course, when such assessors come from the branch of the military, eyebrows are bound to rise. As occurred earlier today in Bamenda, where 20 of military assessors were given the chance to take their oaths of office. Stephanie Chin and Annie Collins.
16 military personnel have this Thursday taken oath of office in the Bamenda Military Tribunal as court assessors. They have taken the oath in either English or French language.
Before God and man, to carry out my duties as a member of the bench of Bamenda Military Tribunal with honest.
The 4 colonels, 1 lieutenant colonel, 1 major, 4 captains and 6 lieutenants have sworn to uphold the rule of law as prescribed by the Directorate of Military Justice in the Ministry of Defense.
We need to manage our time to be present at court deliberations, coupled with the very busy schedule we have in our various functions. Personally, I'm the Bamenda Military Sector Commander, and that entails a whole lot of responsibilities apart from being an assessor.
After a meticulous and lengthy presentation of their individual profiles, the prosecutor told the court they are all fit for the job.
He has to ask questions, take part, to partake in the hearing the matters, ask questions, bring his expertise to the president, and he also partake in the deliberations.
Out of the 20 appointed by the head of state from the army and the gendarmerie, 16 were present in this special court session, also attended by representatives of the governor and the military high command, while the 4 others are out on official duties.
Now, on paper, Cameroon stands out as one of those countries to have ratified international instruments protecting the rights of minorities. But according to rights defenders, very little or nothing at all is being done, as the rights of the same people are being violated almost on a daily basis across the country. Now, in a bid to offset the ongoing trends, media men and women have been convened in Douala, where they have been drilled on how to best report on the protection of the rights of minorities. Kejang Henry Atembe.
Despite having ratified international conventions and covenants on the protection of minority rights, many countries still marginalize minorities on their territories. Holding concerned parties is the reason behind this workshop for journalists in Cameroon to change their reporting paradigm.
You know, the minority people are always, relegated to the background in the society because of their economic power. They're almost powerless in terms of economic power. They don't have the political opinion to make. They are few in terms of number. And so we are bringing journalists on board in order to be able to sensitize the public, the minority rights in particular, on their rights, and that's the minority people, and equally to hold parties responsible.
The world is trapped in the whirlpool of minority crises, which often trigger conflicts and wars, as minority rights are not being respected.
I now understand that they have their rights, they also have a voice, and as journalists, we need to articulate this. These people have been neglected, they have their rights as well, and we need to, write stories on minority rights.
It is incumbent on these media specialists drawn from the 2 socio-linguistic divide of Cameroon to review their scripts when reporting issues concerning minorities.
Now, over the past couple of hours, there's been a continuing display of misunderstanding between the Minister of Public Health and the Director of the Bafoussam Regional Hospital. In fact, the director, who issued a notice Wednesday requiring incoming patients to pay caution fees of 50,000 CFA francs before the start of any treatment, has caught the wrath of the public. He's been bashed online and been criticized in the media. The Public Health Minister Manauda Malachi condemned the move as being incompatible with efforts by the government to render healthcare ever more affordable across the country. And the Regional Hospital Director, George Eno, has eventually withdrawn the notice. Now let's stay on our health page, because for the past several years, cholera appeared to have opted for a low profile across the African continent. But since January this year, and that's according to the World Health Organization, the disease is marking a resurgence in most parts of the continent and even beyond. The World Health Organization says currently 29 African countries are dealing with cholera. Stephanie Chin.
Kenya is the latest African country to report a new surge in cholera, with 61 people infected. Doctors Without Borders has warned of suspected cholera cases in the sprawling Dadaab camp, home to more than 233,000 refugees in Kenya's east. Elsewhere, Nigeria reported 4,153 suspected new cases in September, with 80 deaths, nearly a fourfold increase on July figures. Meantime, Cameroon is also seeing a fresh wave of cholera on its flooded northern border to Nigeria and Chad. At least 17 people have died and more than 100 cases since the outbreak was reported on October 18. The cholera surge came amid shortage of vaccines, which are normally given as 2 doses.
The current wave of outbreaks is putting unprecedented pressure on the stockpile. As a result, the 4 agencies have decided to suspend the 2-dose strategy in favor of a 1-dose strategy so that more people receive some protection from limited stocks. The 1-dose strategy has proven effective in previous outbreaks, although evidence on how long protection lasts is limited.
According to World Health Organization, the world is moving towards more numerous widespread and severe cholera outbreaks due to factors such as floods, droughts and conflict that limit access to clean water.
Now, despite the public grumbling by inhabitants of Douala over the dilapidated nature of public infrastructure and the road network in the city in particular, councillors at the city's council have expressed satisfaction with the execution of the budget for 2022, at least in its second quarter. Gladys Ambo.
Of the 69.3 billion CFA francs budget of the Douala City Council for the current financial year, 45.5 billion CFA francs has been raised as revenue and 32.27 billion CFA francs as expenditure as of September 30, 2022. And although a decline of 6.75% as compared to same time in 2021, the result has been described by councillors as satisfactory.
We are satisfied,
but we are demanding more. We wish that the City Council should continue to do more. As you must have noticed, some roads are already being rehabilitated. This is progress.
At the 3rd ordinary session of the Douala City Council on October 26, 2022, budget orientations for 2023 were defined and projects highlighted.
We want to improve the roads, we want to improve sanitation, and we want, first of all, to improve public transportation system.
In 2023, the City Council also plans to assist the Lakentini Hospital improve its services and launch a modern bus transport network.
And repeatedly, it has been observed that projects funded by money from state coffers almost always end up poorly done or even not done at all. In Yaoundé, stakeholders have been urged to step up efforts in ensuring that all projects funded with money from public coffers attain maturity. Hyacinth Chia.
There has been limitations in the execution of public contracts in some areas across the country. The setbacks to be addressed in this capacity building workshop that has brought together both central and decentralized actors of the chain. Going over the different reports from the field, we noticed that there are new personnel in place and many lack capacities, so it is important to put them at the same level and ensure that they play their role technically and accomplish the task. The 3 days workshop, which started in Yaoundé this Wednesday, October 26th, is highly lauded by participants as that which will enrich their knowledge for better efficiency.
I think with this, at the end of this 3-day workshop, we are expecting to step up our level of interpreting our code.
And while presiding over the opening ceremony, the Secretary General at the Ministry of Public Contracts, Ako Chancel, urged the actors to make use of the opportunity, embrace the necessary techniques to be able to overcome the challenges hampering proper realization of public projects.
In December this year, contenders for the 2023 Oscars will be announced. Vying for a spot in the international films category, feature films for that matter, is a dramatic musical set in the 1960s in West Africa. The Planters Plantation actually bagged several awards at the just ended Écran Noir Festival in Yaoundé, Cameroon, and is now aiming higher, especially with its ensemble of seasoned actors. Here's Sherifa Saleh.
I hereby sign over my authority, the properties to you.
Cameroon has picked director Estienne Young's The Planters Plantation as its submission to the Best International Feature category at the 2023 Oscars. The dramatic musical is produced by Extra Fix Media, BJC, Melody Story and In Amore Pictures. The Planters Plantation, shot in Cameroon, is set in 1960s West Africa and portrays a young woman battling family and society to preserve her late father's legacy, a colonial plantation left to him at independence amid disagreements, betrayal and secrets. Estienne Young wrote and directed the film and also shares the producer credits with co-star Irene Nangi, Don Julio Batts, and another co-star, Queenie Ijang, and executive producers. The Planters Plantation has an ensemble cast that includes Nimo Loveline as Enanga, Loic Somfo, Stephanie Tom Nkem Owo, and Siriet Che. The Cameroon film recently won 3 awards at the Écran Noir Festival, including the Écran d'Or. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences will announce the 15 shortlist contenders for the International Feature Oscar on December 21. The 5 nominees will be announced January 24th. The 95th Academy Awards will take place on March 12, 2023.
That was the Planters Plantation, a rendition of the film by Sherifa Saleh. Now on to our sports page, and as Cameroonians impatiently await the kickoff of this year's edition of the World Cup in Qatar, actors of the country's movie industry are not sleeping. In fact, a film recounting the remarkable exploits of the indomitable Lions at the Italian 1990 edition of the tourney is about to hit the screens. Hyacinth Chia, up next, tells us that the movie is intended to serve as a morale booster for players of Cameroon's national football team, the Indomitable Lions. His report.
The brilliant performance of the Indomitable Lions in the 1990 World Cup replicated into this movie. The film, titled La Fabuleuse Odyssée de Lion et Longtab au Mondial 90 by In and Out Audiovisual Production House, is all about emotions of that glorious generation. It is all about real emotions. We continue to be happy and we wish to see Cameroonians with such emotions in this World Cup. A memorable movie coming at the eve of the 2022 Qatar World Cup is expected to serve as a booster to the boys of Rigobert Song as they prepare for the biggest football fiesta. I think it is a booster for the squads going to Qatar, same like the delegation and Cameroonians at large. This film is very important. It projects the fighting spirit of the 1990 squad, a Cameroon team that was united. The tips of the movie dished out to the public this Wednesday in Yaoundé, and the official presentation is scheduled to take place at the Yaoundé Conference Center on November 8th before the Indomitable Lions take off to Qatar.
Kindly accept the sincere gratitude from the entire production team. It's on that note that we drop the curtains on tonight's edition of the news in English on Canal D International. Lil Piju will be here in a couple of minutes with the debrief, and coming up at 1950, Alain Ghislain Kanga with more news in French. Stay safe and stay blessed until we come around tomorrow. Goodbye.